Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well today. I wanted to do this pre-video before our class on Tuesday, and so here is the vocabulary. We're working through the first 500, and this is 46 through 60. And so Av is probably one you already know from maybe Aramaic studies or New Testament studies, Abba. Um, Ab is the Hebrew form. It means father. And here's a place where it appears. This is a great passage to work through. Um, the previous couple of verses, the context is all our righteous acts are like filthy rags. But notice here it says, "But now, O Lord, our Father," so the enu is that suffixal ending, our Father, our Ab, you are our Father, and anachnu, and we are the clay, the potter's clay, and you are the one fashioning us. And the work of your hand, all of us are, and all of us are the work of your hand. So Abinu here. It's interesting to me that it's possible that this pater hemon, if you've already taken Greek, of course, that's the start of the Lord's Prayer. So, our Father, and if you read this section in Isaiah, it's kind of a confession that we aren't inherently good, but you are our Father, and we're the clay, and you're the one fashioning us. And so certainly in that same New Testament like appeal. So maybe that will help learn this word, Shema, here. The obvious place to go for that is Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. This is your imperative. Hear, O Israel. Yatsah is going to be a verb whenever they give it to you without the vowel pointing. They're telling you, hey, this is a verb usually. It means bring out, bring forth. Famous place where this is used is the preface to the Ten Commandments. We have Enoki Adonai Eloheka, I am the Lord your God, who Hotseitika, who caused you to go out. And the form there, this is parsing is from BibleWorks. It's a verb, a hiphil, perfect, first person common, plus a second person masculine singular suffix. So this is the you part. It's a direct object of the word. This is the I part. We've already memorized those endings. And then standard hiphil is hey on the beginning. So Hotseitika, who caused you to go out from the land of Mitzrayim, from the Beit Evadim, from the house of servants, the house of slavery. All right, ear. And I guess if we're trying to do the ions, we would do something like ear, try to make that a little harder, guttural. It's town. And here's a place where it's used. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived, and she brought forth Enoch, Enoch, and he was building, I think maybe this goes back to Cain, and he was building Ir. He was building a city, and he called the name of the city. So we've got city and then the city. And notice you can't put a doubling dagesh in a guttural, so you lengthen the comments, or the patat to a comments. The city, according to the name of his son. Lakach, take. I don't really have a great mnemonic device for that one. Odd thing, a lot of times the lamed will be absorbed in the next letter. That's what's happened here. So, vayikach, and the Lord God took the Adam and he knowed him, he rested him in the Garden of Eden to work her, so garden, and to guard her. That work and guard be exactly what the Levites are supposed to do with the temple later. So this is presenting the Garden of Eden as a temple. So the Lord God took the Adam and rested him, made him Noah in the Garden of Eden to work it and to guard it. All right, Yashav, verb. It means to sit or dwell, and it can mean either of those things. So here's a place, 18:1, and there appeared to him, that is, the Lord appeared to him, in the oaks of Mamre, and he, that is, Abraham, was sitting. So that's that O-eh ending. This is the participle. He was sitting at the mouth of the temple about the heat of the day, according to the heat of the day. So the sit in place where it's used. Ehad, I imagine you already know, means one. We've read this phrase, Yom Echad, Vayikra Elohim La'or Yom Ve'lachosha Kara La'ila Vayihi Erev Vayihi Boker Yom Echad. So, literally day one. Most make it an ordinal, but it's actually the cardinal, Yom Echad. If you do a lemma search or a phrase search for Yom Echad, there is a really interesting place where Yom Echad appears outside of Genesis. And there shall be a unique day. There shall be Yom Echad. And it is known to the Lord. It is not a day. It is not a night. And it will be about the time of evening. There will be light. Of course, all that's kind of echoing Genesis 1 language, and it makes me wonder if like Yom Echad isn't like the day of the Lord, and we think of entire human history, maybe, time goes in and then time ends, but it's all just one eternal day to the Lord, so that, he could say the Lamb was slain before the foundation of the world, and he can say, even while we're living in this life, our perfected bodies are joined with Christ in heaven. I wonder if that isn't what Yom Echad is getting at. I don't know, but it's interesting and might help you remember Echad. Im is if, and here's a place where it's used. And he brought him to the outside, and he said, look, please, to the heavens, and count the kokavim, count the stars, if you're able to. Interesting thing, in night sky you can only see about 1,000 stars, and yet we know now, thanks to the Hubble telescope, there are trillions of stars. Maybe God's keeping his promise even what Abraham couldn't see. Count them if you're able to count them. And he said to him, thus will be your seed. Your seed will be like the stars. Well, I've seen one writing that said maybe 1 billion people lived on Earth from year zero to about 1800, and since 1800 till now, what is there, 7 or 8 billion? But God promised trillions if he's connecting them with the stars, and he knows how many stars there are. He calls them by name. Is it fair to ask God to be true to his word and to fill the banqueting hall? Jesus said the harvest is plentiful and the laborers are few. I don't know. God made the promise and connected with the stars, and there are trillions and trillions of stars. So should we believe that there are going to be trillions and trillions of people who are in the bosom of Abraham? I don't know. But maybe this word, im, if you are able, maybe it'll help you remember that word. Mavet or moot, I'm not exactly how you're supposed to say this as a verb, but it means die. The most famous place it's used from the end, from the tree of the knowing Tov and Ra, you will not eat from it, because on the day of your eating from it, mot tamut. So this is an infinitive absolute, and when you put an infinitive absolute with the imperfect, that's how you get surely die. So God doesn't say you will die, he says you will surely die. If we did phrase search, this is exactly what Solomon says to it's that guy who cursed David on the day you go out of Jerusalem, mot tamut, you will surely die. So maybe that will help you memorize. My mnemonic device when I started Hebrew was it's a moot point, which I thought meant was a dead point, but moot actually means debated there. So I don't know if that will help you, but moot, shuv, is to return or to do again. And so here's a place where it appears by the sweat of your nose, I guess we would say face, you will eat lechem, you will eat bread until you're returning to the Adamah, because from it you were taken. Oh, that's our lakak word again. Because dust you are, and to dust you will return. Tosh, shuv. So shuv is return. Allah. So this means to go up. If you can say it as a hard guttural, it'll help you remember how to spell Allah. Famous place that occurs in Genesis 22:2, and he said, take now. Oh, that's that lakak word again. The lamed's fallen off again. Take now your son, your precious one, whom you love, that is the Isaac. Lake Lekah, go for yourself to the land of the bitterness of Yahweh, and Hiphiel of Allah, make him go up there to be a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I am saying to you. Now, what's really interesting about this verse, make him go up for a burnt offering, for a thing that goes up in smoke, I think is kind of how you connect it. The really interesting thing about this verse is if you look at it in Hebrew, the son of you, the agapetos son, verbatim, that's what God says of Jesus at his baptism, and I think at the transfiguration too. This is my son, my agapetos son. So referring back, this is going to be an important verse for us. If it helps us remember Allah, that's going to be all the better. Moshe, probably don't really need a mnemonic device, but of course this is, when the Yelad grew up, and she brought him to the daughter of Pharaoh, and he was to her for a son. This is the same formula of you will be to me for a people. She called his name Moshe, and she said, because from the Mayim I have Moses and him, I have drawn him forth. So drawing forth Moshe. Sham means there. Here's a place where it's used, and the Lord God planted there a Gan Be'eden, a garden in Eden from the east, and he placed there, Sham, the Adam which he formed. He put there the Adam which he formed. Shana is year. Maybe a mnemonic device is Rosh Hashanah, the head of the year. Here's a place where it occurs, and Abraham was the son of 100 year. For some reason in Hebrew, with the word 100, you don't say 100 years. He was a son of 100 years, but you say he was a son of 100 of year. That's a construct. When there was born to him Isaac, his son. All right, David, probably don't need any mnemonic device there. It's the word David. This is a great verse to look at. They completed, or they finished, the prayers of David. So I think you say here, the prayers of David, son of Jesse, are ended. So this is last sentence in book 2 of the Psalter, which is interesting because 72 is by Solomon, but I think it's saying that David actually prayed through these two books were his prayer books, and so he wasn't opposed to praying someone else's composition as his prayer. And there we have it. So I hope this helps. We're learning 15 verses at a time, so I'll see you soon.